You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, my goodness, now we've got one of the co-founders, co-owners of Unrivaled once again telling players what to do involving their collective bargaining agreement status with the NBA. That just all sounds insane to me when it comes out of my mouth. Every time it comes out of my mouth that you have players that are vice presidents.
So here's what went down that nobody saw coming. Breanna Stewart, who's not just any player but a co-owner of a rival league and sits as WNBA union vice president, dropped a bombshell that left everyone stunned. She straight up told players to refuse every single contract offer. Think about that for a second. Here's someone telling athletes to walk away from millions, while owners just laid unprecedented money on the table. This wasn't some casual advice either. This was a direct command from union leadership, creating chaos from within. The whole league's strategy of offering massive salary bumps just hit a wall from their own player representative. What followed was dead silence that spoke volumes, marking the start of a power struggle that's about to reshape everything we know about the WNBA.
Look, the court of public opinion has wildly shifted from it was about the players and yeah, they need more money, blah, 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 to now it's, okay, the owners have given you the money. The money's on the table. But you're taking all these personal shots. You're bringing up social reform in a collective bargaining agreement. We're seeing your ridiculous inflatable rats and freaking.
Let's talk about something that's absolutely mind-boggling when you really break it down. Picture this scenario, where union vice presidents are literally running competing basketball leagues while trying to negotiate for players. The conflict here isn't subtle, it's massive, and right out in the open. How does someone fight for player interests in one league while building up a rival operation on the side? The whole foundation of collective bargaining gets shaky when you've got leaders splitting their loyalty like this. It creates this impossible situation where personal business deals might clash with what's actually best for all the players they're supposed to represent. The integrity of these negotiations is now under serious question. This tangled mess of competing interests brings up major red flags about whether players are getting genuine representation.
Except, how can the owners ever look at that when they've never turned a profit and take it seriously? I mean, it's like the one equation. Do you recognize none of the players ever bring up the fact that this league's never made a profit? None of them. And it's common knowledge. It's common. I mean, there's sports fans that don't give a rip about the WNBA that knows it's never made a profit. Why? Because it was it's been a running joke forever. And then, of course, it also got a lot of publicity when Brittany Griner got locked up in Russia.
Now here's where the owners made a chess move that was pure genius. They started rolling out qualifying offers as free agents, all based on the current lower paying agreement that's still in place. Don't mistake this for generosity. This was strategy at its finest. These offers put real numbers right in front of players, forcing them to see exactly what they're walking away from. The league knew these contracts wouldn't get signed, but that wasn't the point. The psychological game was brilliant. They went around the stalled union talks and spoke directly to each player's wallet, quietly breaking down the united front. It was textbook manipulation, using economic pressure to flip the power dynamic completely.
Right. Just if you go from 250 to 1.2, that's a 6-time salary increase. By the end of the newly offered CBA by the owners, it's almost a 9-time salary increase for the players. As always, guys, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you resubscribe. I brought that up in my video last night. 300, almost 400 new subs. And a lot of them were YouTube unsubscribed me, and I didn't know it. What? Oh, my goodness. I can't believe I have to keep bringing this up.
The owners had a crystal clear endgame here. Wake up the players financially. The conversation had been stuck on abstract demands and social issues for way too long. Now the league decided to cut through all that noise and make it personal. Real money, actual cash. sitting right there waiting to be claimed. This approach forces every player to balance their principles against immediate financial gain. It makes them question whether dragging out these negotiations is worth the hit to their personal wealth. The strategy wasn't about making a simple offer, it was about creating doubt and self-interest inside the union, essentially turning individual players into their own negotiation teams.
Sign anything because any contract signed would fall under the current CBA numbers. I think everybody understands that. Not the ones they are fighting for in the current negotiations. Nobody thought that they were going to sign deals based on the current CBA. At least I can't imagine anybody thought that. But there's got to be a way out. What the league is trying to do right here is to get these players to start thinking about dollar signs. Dollar signs. Start making them think about money.
Something major has happened with public opinion, and it's not looking good for the players anymore. That initial support, where everyone felt bad for athletes needing better pay, has completely evaporated. Instead, people are seeing the league put serious money on the table and watching the union play games that feel more like personal attacks than labor negotiations. Fans are getting fed up with what looks like unreasonable demands, especially when significant financial improvements are right there for the taking. The public narrative has flipped toward the owners, leaving the union in a really tough spot that's getting more isolated by the day.
To start thinking about dollar signs. Dollar signs. Start making them think about money and the increase in money. That's all they've talked about. We want new money. We want more money. Well, more money and a lot more of it's on the table. Right here, I put this up this morning. How long before the WNBA players start chewing their own legs off, trying to get off a sinking ship? You've got a lot of women turning down a lot of money. $2 million by the end of the new CBA is a lot of bread just laying there.
These protest tactics the union is using, like those ridiculous inflatable rats and truck banners, are starting to look like something out of minor league amateur hour. The whole thing comes across as desperate and unprofessional, which is seriously damaging their cause. Instead of serious negotiations, it feels petty and vindictive, like players think they've been shortchanged for years and now they're lashing out. This childish approach completely undermines any legitimate demands they might have and pushes away potential supporters. The whole visual is terrible, showing a lack of real strategy and focus on theatrics instead of result.
Off a sinking ship. You've got a lot of women turning down a lot of money. $2 million by the end of the new CBA is a lot of bread just laying there to be picked up. And that's the whole thing. The money is now officially, because it's been offered from the league, the money's just laying there. You're walking down the street and you look down, you're like, damn, I'm a player that's been making $100,000 and there's a $500,000 laying there. There's 5 years worth of salary. In the first year of the CBA, there's 5 years worth of salary laying there. I'm just leaving it sitting, and I'm going to keep walking.
Here's what's absolutely crazy about all these demands. Not one player seems to acknowledge that the WNBA has never made a profit. Not once. This is basic knowledge that even casual sports fans understand. The league has been a financial punchline forever. So how exactly are owners supposed to take seriously demands for more money when the entire operation has never generated a return? This complete ignorance of fundamental business reality shows a massive disconnect between what players expect and what the league can actually afford. It creates a bargaining position that simply can't be sustained.
I'd be willing to bet they would look no different. Oh, I'm tuning in for Caitlin Clark versus Paige Beckers. I'm tuning in for Caitlin Clark versus Anya Cintron. That's still all on the table. Angel Reese is out. You know, I mean, you get my point I'm trying to make. It's the veteran players that are the long-term back-end veteran players that are screwing this all up. Tell me what you think. Wow.
In a strange twist of fate, the terrible situation with Brittany Griner's detention in Russia actually brought more attention to the WNBA than it had ever received before. While nobody wanted those circumstances, it put the league in the global spotlight and made people aware of its financial situation. This unexpected visibility, combined with the current offers, has created a perfect storm. Now real money is available, and everyone knows about it. This awareness puts even more pressure on players, because the public can see the substantial financial opportunities they're turning down, making their resistance much harder to justify. Let's be clear about the money that's actually on the table right now, because it's absolutely life-changing. We're looking at salaries jumping from around $250,000 to $1.2 million. That's 6 times what they're making now. By the time this new collective bargaining agreement runs its course, players could be looking at nearly 9 times their current pay. This isn't just a raise, this is generational wealth being handed to them. Think about a player making $100,000 suddenly having the opportunity to earn 5 years' worth of their current salary in just the first year of a new deal. It's an unprecedented shift that completely transforms the financial reality for every single athlete in the league. Even with this incredible offer sitting right there, Breanna Stewart spoke for the union and made it crystal clear that nobody should sign anything. Her logic was that any contract signed now would be based on current lower numbers instead of the increased amounts they're fighting for. This created a direct standoff between owners offering immediate real money and union leadership telling players to wait for potentially bigger future payouts. It forces players into an impossible choice between financial security right now and uncertain bigger gains down the road, all while being told by their own union what to do. The league's approach is definitely working, backing players into a corner where they might end up hurting themselves by refusing guaranteed massive increases. Players are literally walking past millions of dollars that are just sitting there waiting to be claimed. This isn't theoretical money we're talking about. It's a real multi-million-dollar package that could completely change individual lives. The comparison to chewing your own leg off to escape a trap perfectly captures the self-inflicted damage of holding out when such an amazing deal is available. This creates enormous pressure within the player ranks because the personal stakes are incredibly high. It's a huge gamble with life-changing money on the line. And $2 million by the end of the new agreement isn't just good money. It's transformational wealth for most WNBA athletes. This goes way beyond just bigger paychecks. We're talking about financial security, planning for the future, long-term stability. Players are literally walking past $500,000 in year 1 alone, which equals 5 years of current salary for many of them. The massive scale of this money makes the union's refusal look increasingly crazy to people on the outside, and more importantly, to the individual players whose careers won't last forever. Having this immediate financial opportunity becomes really hard to ignore when it could change your entire life. We're not just talking about upgrading from a $2,500 monthly apartment. This money means finally being able to own a home and have real stability. For most WNBA players, this represents getting a permanent place to live, putting down roots, and building actual equity. This home buying potential fulfills dreams and represents a real step toward financial independence that previous contracts never could have provided. The possibility of such major life improvements creates intense internal conflict for players who have to weigh their personal futures against the collective bargaining strategy. What's really important to understand is that this unprecedented money isn't just for the league superstars, like Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson, or Sabrina Ionescu, who already have massive endorsement deals. We're talking specifically about the 6th through 10th players, the 11th player riding the bench, the role players and unsung heroes who make up most of the league roster. These are the athletes whose lives would change the most dramatically from these offered salaries, giving them financial security that has always been completely out of reach. Their dreams of owning homes and having stability now depend directly on these negotiations, putting enormous pressure on them to break away from the group. There's a scary possibility that's starting to get more attention. What if the league just moved forward with replacement players and rookies? While it's not clear if current contracts would allow this complete overhaul, the idea is gaining serious momentum. Many people have suggested simply bringing in fresh talent, especially considering the massive wave of rookies and players on entry-level contracts, who could essentially restart this league. This isn't just talk, it's a real reminder that the league has access to a deep pool of new talent that's eager to grab the opportunities veteran players are currently rejecting. Picture a starting lineup with Rykaya Jackson, Sonia Senek, Paige Bookers, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Aaliyah Boston. These are just some of the exciting young players, many still on rookie deals, who could immediately become the face of the league. While they're not all at the same level, their combined star power is undeniable. Having these highly marketable skilled players available seriously weakens the veterans' bargaining position. Their presence means the league has a legitimate, exciting alternative that's ready to step in and grab fan attention without missing a beat. The claim that ratings would crash without veteran players just doesn't make sense when you've got a new generation of stars like Caitlin Clark going head-to-head with Paige Buchers or Sonia Sinek. The excitement remains incredibly strong because fans tune in for the talent, the skill, and the fresh storylines these rookies create. The ratings probably wouldn't look much different at all, and some people argue they might not change one bit. This perspective directly challenges the idea that veteran players can't be replaced, further isolating them in their standoff with the league. The appeal of new rivalries could easily keep viewership strong. The harsh reality, according to some perspectives, is that long-term veteran players are the ones messing this whole thing up. Their refusal to accept substantial new money, their focus on personal complaints, and their apparent disconnect from the league's financial reality are putting the entire operation at risk. This shifts blame directly onto those who have been in the league the longest, suggesting their stubbornness is blocking progress for everyone, especially younger players who aren't financially secure. It's a tough assessment that reveals deep divisions within the league. This whole dispute also shows how much the league desperately needs more time to get professional. With broadcasts that look like single-A rookie baseball and telecasts that feel Bush League, the WNBA needs every moment it can get to fix these basic problems. Having a long off-season instead of just a 3-week break is essential for addressing these fundamental issues. Constant disruption from labor disputes stops the league from focusing on improving the fan experience and building a truly professional product. This struggle highlights much bigger challenges the WNBA faces beyond just player salaries. The owners have made their play, putting unprecedented wealth on the table and strategically forcing players to face the real cost of their union position. Breanna Stewart's exposed order against signing new contracts, combined with the obvious conflict of interest from union leadership, has created a massive split in the organization. The WNBA stands at a critical moment where they either accept this generational money and secure their future, or risk losing their fan base and an entire generation of talent to inflexible ideology. The power has clearly shifted, and the future of the WNBA, along with its players, now hangs in a very precarious balance.